You know that feeling when the clock strikes 2 in the afternoon and suddenly your eyelids feel heavier than a bag of groceries? Or maybe you've noticed that by mid-afternoon, your energy dips so low that even your favorite TV show can't keep you awake. Well, my friend, you're not alone. And what if I told you that this isn't just normal, but it's actually good for you? That's right. Today we're talking about the secret art of afternoon napping, something many of us were taught to resist as lazy in our younger years. But as it turns out, it might just be one of the best things we can do for our health after 60. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Napping? Isn't that just for toddlers and cats? But here's the truth. Science is on our side. A well-timed siesta can boost memory, improve mood, and even help keep your heart healthy. And the best part? It doesn't require any fancy equipment or expensive habits, just you, a cozy spot, and a little know-how. So let's dive into why seniors should embrace the siesta, not fight it. We'll start with the biggest benefits, the reasons you might want to give yourself permission to rest guilt-free. Then we'll talk about the right way to nap, because yes, there's a smart way to do it. And finally, we'll tackle some of the common worries, like, will napping ruin my sleep at night? First up, why napping is like a secret superpower after 60. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, tackle your errands or hobbies with energy, but by early afternoon, you start to slow down. Maybe you reach for another cup of coffee or try to push through, but what if, instead of fighting it, you listen to your body? Turns out that mid-afternoon slump isn't just in your head. Our natural body rhythms, especially as we get older, are wired for a dip in energy after lunch. It's called the post-lunch circadian lull, a fancy term for your body's way of saying it needs a break. And when we ignore it, we end up feeling more tired, less focused, and even a little grumpy. Sound familiar? But here's where the magic happens. A short, restful nap, just 20 to 30 minutes, can reset your system like nothing else. Studies show it can sharpen your mind, improve reaction time, and even help with problem solving. Think of it like hitting the refresh button on your brain. And it's not just about mental clarity. Napping has been linked to lower stress levels, better heart health, and even a stronger immune system. One study found that people who napped a few times a week had a lower risk of heart disease. That's right. Something as simple as closing your eyes for a little while could actually help you live longer. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but what if I wake up groggy? Or I don't want to waste my day sleeping. And those are fair concerns, which is why the way you nap matters just as much as the nap itself. That brings us to our second big point, how to nap the right way. Because here's the thing, not all naps are created equal. Ever taken a 2-hour quick nap only to wake up feeling like you've been hit by a truck? Yeah, we've all been there. But with a few simple tricks, you can make sure your naps leave you refreshed, not foggy. The golden rule: keep it short and sweet. Aim for 20 to 30 minutes max, just enough to rest your mind without slipping into deep sleep. That way, you avoid that groggy feeling, what scientists call sleep inertia. Set a gentle alarm if you need to. Nothing jarring, just a little reminder to ease back into your day. Timing matters too. The best window for most people is early afternoon, between 1 and 3 p.m. Nap too late and it can interfere with nighttime sleep. But if you stick to that sweet spot, you'll recharge without stealing from your night's rest. And here's a pro tip. Make your nap comfortable, but not too comfortable. You don't want to crawl under the covers like it's bedtime. That's how 2-hour naps happen. Instead, try a recliner, a couch, or even just leaning back in a cozy chair. The idea is to relax, not hibernate. That brings us to our second big point, how to nap the right way. Because here's the thing, not all naps are created equal. Ever taken a 2-hour quick nap only to wake up feeling like you've been hit by a truck? Yeah, we've all been there. But with a few simple tricks, you can make sure your naps leave you refreshed, not foggy. Now, before we go further, let's talk about one of the biggest worries I hear. Will napping make me sleep worse at night? It's a valid question. After all, nobody wants to trade an afternoon boost for a sleepless night. But here's the good news. If you nap the right way, short, early, and not too deep, research shows it doesn't mess with nighttime sleep for most people. In fact, some studies suggest that older adults who nap actually sleep better overall because they're less overtired by bedtime. Of course, everyone's different. If you find that napping leaves you wide awake at night, you might need to adjust the length or timing. But for most of us, a little siesta is just what the doctor ordered. So, let's recap what we've covered so far. Napping isn't just okay after 60, it's great for your brain, your mood, and even your heart. And when you do it right, short, early, and comfy, but not too comfy, it can make your days brighter without stealing from your nights. But we're just getting started. Next, we'll talk about how to create the perfect napping environment, because where and how you rest makes all the difference. Plus, we'll tackle some fun ways to make your siesta feel like a mini vacation, because why not enjoy it? So, grab your favorite blanket, settle in, and let's keep going. Because the art of the afternoon nap is something worth mastering. Now that we've talked about why napping is so wonderful and how to time it just right, let's make sure you're getting the most out of your siesta. Because here's the thing, a great nap isn't just about closing your eyes, it's about creating a little oasis of calm in your day. Think about the last time you truly relaxed. Maybe it was on vacation, lying in a hammock with a gentle breeze, or curled up with a good book on a rainy afternoon. That's the feeling we want to bring to your nap. Not just a quick doze, but a moment of real rejuvenation. So, how do you turn your ordinary couch or chair into a mini retreat? Let's start with your surroundings. Lighting is key. Our brains are wired to associate darkness with sleep. So if you can, dim the lights or draw the curtains. You don't need total blackout conditions, just a soft, muted glow to signal to your body that it's time to wind down. If you're napping in a bright room, try a lightweight sleep mask. They're not just for long flights, they work wonders for daytime rest too. Next, think about sound. Some of us love silence, while others find a little background noise soothing. If you're in a noisy household or just prefer some gentle sound, try white noise, a fan, a quiet nature soundtrack, or even one of those relaxation apps with rain or ocean waves. The goal is to block out distractions, not add more. And let's talk about temperature. Ever notice how it's harder to fall asleep when you're too hot or too cold? The ideal napping temperature is slightly cool, around 65 to 70 degrees. If you tend to get chilly, keep a light throw blanket nearby, but remember, we're not going full bedtime mode. Now, here's a trick you might not have thought of. Prepare your mind for napping. Just like you wouldn't sprint into a yoga class, you don't want to flop into a nap straight from a hectic task. Take just a minute or two to transition. Maybe that means sipping a little herbal tea. Chamomile or peppermint are great choices. Doing some slow, deep breaths, or even listening to a short, calming piece of music. The idea is to tell your brain, okay, we're shifting gears now, and if your mind tends to race with to-do lists, we've all been there, try this. Keep a notepad by your napping spot. If something pops into your head, oh, I need to call Susan later, just jot it down and let it go. Your nap isn't the time for problem solving. It's the time for resting. Now, before we go any further, let's clear up a few misconceptions because I know some of you might still be on the fence. Myth number 1, napping is for the lazy. Oh, how I wish we could erase this idea forever. Napping isn't about laziness, it's about listening to your body. Some of the most productive people in history, from Winston Churchill to Albert Einstein, were famous nappers. They knew that a little rest could fuel greater creativity and focus. Myth number 2, if I nap, I'll sleep worse at night. We touched on this earlier, but it's worth repeating. A short nap, again 20 to 30 minutes, in the early afternoon shouldn't interfere with nighttime sleep. In fact, for many seniors, it helps by preventing that overtired, wired feeling at bedtime. Myth number 3, I'll wake up feeling worse. This only happens if you nap too long or too late. Stick to the golden rules, short, early, and comfy, and you'll wake up refreshed, not groggy. Here's where the fun begins. Your siesta shouldn't feel like an obligation. It should feel like a gift you give yourself. So why not make it enjoyable? Maybe you nap with a soft favorite blanket, the one that feels like a hug. Or perhaps you have a special pillow just for your afternoon rest. Memory foam travel pillows aren't just for planes. Some people love a tiny spritz of lavender on their pillow. It's a natural relaxant. And if you really want to indulge, try the coffee nap. Sounds strange, but here's how it works. Drink a small cup of coffee right before your nap. Since caffeine takes about 20 minutes to kick in, you'll wake up just as it starts to boost you. Double the energy. Just don't overdo the coffee. Half a cup is plenty. Some of you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but what if I lie there and never actually drift off? First, don't stress. Even if you don't fully sleep, just resting with your eyes closed has benefits. It lowers stress hormones, gives your muscles a break, and lets your mind reset. But if you'd like to increase your chances of dozing, try this. Focus on your breathing. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Or try relaxing your body one part at a time. Start with your toes, then your feet, then your calves, and so on. Often, by the time you reach your shoulders, you're already drifting. Now, I know some of you still have questions like, what if I have insomnia? Or can napping help with memory? We'll tackle those next, along with some real-life stories from seniors who've transformed their afternoons and their health with the power of the siesta. But for now, why not give it a try? Find your cozy spot. Set a gentle 25-minute timer and let yourself unwind. You might just discover that a little daytime rest is the secret to feeling brighter, sharper, and more you. So here we are. You've learned why napping is a superpower after 60, how to do it right, and even how to make it feel like a mini vacation. But before we wrap up, let's talk about something even bigger. How the simple act of resting can add years to your life, and life to your years. Research keeps piling up. Regular nappers tend to have lower rates of heart disease, reduced stress, and even better cognitive function as they age. One study from Greece found that people who napped at least 3 times a week had a 37% lower risk of heart-related death. That's not just a fluke. It's a pattern. Why? Because sleep, even in small doses, is when your body repairs itself. It's like a nightly tune-up for your brain and heart, and an afternoon nap gives you an extra boost of that healing time. And let's not forget the mental benefits. Ever notice how everything feels harder when you're tired? A quick nap can reset your mood, sharpen your focus, and even make you more patient with loved ones, grandkids included. Now, I know some of you might struggle with insomnia or restless nights. Does that mean napping is off the table? Not necessarily, but you might need to adjust. If nighttime sleep is a challenge, try these tweaks. Keep naps extra short, 10 to 15 minutes. Nap before 2 p.m. to minimize interference. If you still can't sleep at night, skip naps for a few days and see if it helps. But for most people, a short siesta won't steal from nighttime sleep. It just makes the whole day better. I've heard from so many seniors who've embraced napping, and the stories are incredible. One woman told me her afternoon rest helped her finally enjoy painting again because she wasn't fighting fatigue. A gentleman shared that his 20-minute nap made his evening walks with his wife more enjoyable instead of exhausting. And then there's Martha, a spry 78-year-old who swears her daily siesta is why she still gardens, travels, and dances at her grandson's weddings. I used to think napping was giving up, she said. Now I know it's how I keep going. So here's my challenge to you. For the next week, give napping a real try. Not just a random doze in the recliner, but a planned 20-minute pause. Set the scene, dim lights, comfy spot, maybe a little soft music, and let yourself truly rest. Pay attention to how you feel afterward. Do you have more energy, a brighter mood, better focus? Your body will tell you if this is right for you. For so many of us, slowing down feels like surrender. We were raised to believe that productivity equals worth, that if we're not doing, we're not valuable. But here's the truth. Rest is not laziness. It's wisdom. Your body has carried you through decades of work, love, and life. Isn't it time to give it the kindness of a little break? So go ahead, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let yourself drift. The laundry can wait. The emails can wait. You deserve this. And if you've enjoyed this video, why not share it with a friend who could use a little more rest in their day? Or leave a comment below. I'd love to hear how napping has made a difference for you. Here's to brighter afternoons, sharper minds, and living every year to its fullest. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think it's my nap time.